Welcome back to the Footy Fix podcast. This is the second episode in collaboration with Football Planet. You can catch this episode on both the Footy Fix's platform and Football Planet's platform. And make sure you head to Instagram and follow at Footy Fix Pod and at FTBL Planet. So there were two huge games today. Let's not waste any more time and dive right into it. Cue it up. On today's episodes, we have special guests Jack Fox and Cameron Fyffe. Gentlemen, how we doing today, boys?
I'm doing good.
Big
Happy to
win
be
today
here.
for you Liverpool fans, I guess, yeah? Or not a big tie, I should say. I was thinking about something else.
That's not really the result I wanted, but considering we didn't have any fit center backs, I'm not too mad about it, to be honest.
I was going to say Hendo and Fabinho
Oh
holding
man,
off
that's
Bruno.
shaky.
Why not? All right.
It's not the end of the world, but it's, I don't know. At least they remain status quo in the table besides moving down to fourth. But
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah. All right, Fyffe, I got a question for you, buddy. With a string of some poor results lately and a really frail-looking back line, are Bayern Munich still the UCL favorites?
I would question that because I feel like last year, even though they obviously played really well and were like just from watching them, you could tell they're the best team in the world. But I also think that they benefited from a lot of like the COVID stuff and like that. They got going a little bit early, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember. So they kind of like had those extra warm-ups on the other team. So I don't think this year they are head-and-head favorites. But then again, I also can't think of anyone off the top of my head that's really like matching them one for one. So honestly, sure, I'll say yes. I'd say Bayern are still the favorites because like besides losing Thiago, they haven't really been affected too much. They're still playing well. So
They just have like so much depth in literally every single position. It's ridiculous.
True.
All right, question for you, Jack. Will Chelsea finish top 4 in the EPL this year?
Honestly, I'm gonna say no. I don't think Chelsea are gonna do that. They just with the way that players like Werner and Kai Havertz have been playing, even Hakeem Ziyech, man, he's been okay, but he hasn't been 60 million or so that they paid for him. I just don't think they have the depth, like Premier League quality depth, in order to stay in that top 4 come the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have like the Premier League quality talent, like
Yep.
all over the field, and Werner and
Yeah,
even
for
Ziyech,
sure.
man. If those guys played like they did before they got to Chelsea, they'd be top 3 right now, probably.
Oh, definitely, man. Werner's just not scoring the goals, man. Like you see, even Lampard's lost faith in him, man. Like he's starting Giroud now week in, week out because Werner's just not scoring the goals. You know what I mean?
Say what you want about Giroud. That guy just pure class. Like
Oh man,
he comes on the field, he just plays well, and
he's a goal scorer.
33, and he's
yeah,
so
man.
underrated.
He's the goal scorer, bro. That's all.
and
he
he's
does
getting
is score
better with
goals.
age as
Oh,
well.
it's true.
Like
I know, man.
he's playing so many limited minutes, and everyone questions how he gets so much time with France. But it's because like every team he goes to, the clubs like Arsenal, he was always shaky in another lineup. Always didn't play the best. Chelsea, like same thing, barely gets on the field. But when he does, like he performs.
And man, he's France's all-time top goal scorer now, man. Like
Literally.
it shows you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, puts it into context, really.
I
But then
know.
what boggles me is like you look at the France lineup, and everybody on that team is like, okay, you're starting game in, game out for whatever like domestic team you play for, and in Champions League.
Yeah.
Like Conte, Pogba, Mbappe, like all these guys, and then all of a sudden there's Giroud at the top, like at the 9.
Yeah, I know, man.
You're like, what is
Giroud.
that? But at the end of the day, he plays off of Mbappe and who would it be, like maybe Dembele or something like that?
Even Martial sometimes, I guess, too.
Like
yeah.
they play off each other.
Coleman.
Like
Yeah,
crazy.
Coleman,
yeah. Like they play off each other, and it's like he's not as skilled, like nowhere near as skilled as any
No.
other player on the team. But
He's your classic number 9, man. Like he just plays back to goal. He holds the ball up and he does what you need a striker to do. You know what I mean?
100%.
And he brings a different element, especially with France. Like a lot of those players play with flair. They're fast,
Yeah.
quick down the wings, and he's just plants himself in the box and knows where to be.
Exactly.
Like
Good with his head too. Good with his head.
Great in the air and just a clinical finisher. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Manchester United tied your Reds today. Final score 0-0. Kind of a cagey game. What are you guys' thoughts on this one? I mean, obviously you're both Liverpool fans, tied for points at the top now. What do you think about this game?
Man, honestly, I mean, watching the game, man, if like first half we were all over United, you could see that right from the start. Ole Gunnar was just trying to play for a draw, and I
Yeah.
mean,
For sure.
fair play to him, man. Like, I mean, they're 3 points up on us right now, so I mean, I'd play for the draw as well. You know what I mean? But I mean, considering, man, like as I said, we didn't have any fit center halves. It's hard for a player too, man. Like Thiago, he's such a good player, but it's hard to let him play the way he wants when you don't have a player like Fabinho ideally and behind him in midfield who has to be playing center half right now. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
tough. It's tough.
Mhm. What'd you think?
I
Tyler?
think that Liverpool showed well in terms of possession and like their overall dominance and talent. But I also think that United impressed themselves with the fact that even though like they conceded a lot of the pressure and like a lot of the times they just kind of like didn't have possession, they were just kind of out of control of the game. Like they showed that they can handle like playing against the top teams in the world. And like I feel like everyone always kind of writes off Man United even when they're playing well. It's like something's gonna happen eventually. But I think they like kind of did prove themselves today a lot. And
Yeah.
it's scary for Liverpool because like they're always considered the opposite. It's like they're gonna mess up, but like it's Liverpool. Like they're not gonna give it up.
Even now,
And
man,
now
like,
it's starting to think, yeah, it's different
it's
now.
even 3 games now, man, without a goal. It's fucking cagey, man. Like a 0-0 draw at Newcastle, then a loss at Southampton, and now another 0-0 draw. It's worrying a little bit for me, man.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
100%. Like
yeah,
you guys got to think. Like you're missing Van Dyke,
Mhm.
and you're
yeah,
still not conceding a lot of goals. Like you said, over the past 3 games, it's only one goal, and
Yeah.
without probably who is the best center back if he was playing right now in the world today. But this is a win for you guys, to be honest with you. I mean, you going up against Bruno, it's Bruno. Like he's incredible right now. He's on an incredible run of form. Then you got guys like
yeah.
Pogba who are playing well, Rashford, Martial. They put in Cavani. These are really good offensive talents, and Hendo and Fabinho just slipped in there, didn't allow anything. I'll be honest
Yeah.
with you. I thought like this. I thought Man U had this in the bag, and then I remembered. Oh yeah, Liverpool have Thiago. They have the front three of Mane, Firmino, Salah. Oh yeah, they have Henderson. Oh yeah, they have TAA and Robertson. And then I was like, you know what? It's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
But
It's
Allison
oh
played
man,
So good. He's so
incredible.
good.
he came through at the end for us there, man.
You forget, like,
He's
everybody
arguably the most important player.
I was going to say
Oh,
that. And,
definitely.
like, you think about, oh, yeah, they're missing Van Dyke. Doesn't matter. They literally have a brick wall in net. Like,
Yeah.
Allison is so good. And those
Mhm.
saves against Bruno and Pogba, those save the game. That's 2-0 on any other keeper in the world.
Yeah.
He's so big. He's a big guy, huge wingspan, and that's like Pogba was within 8 yards.
Yeah.
Closer than the penalty marker.
He had the
That's a goal.
space too, man.
He
He had
had
the
time,
space.
yeah.
He had the space, he had the time. That's a goal against literally any other keeper in the world, I'm willing to say. Maybe Oblak on a 50-50 situation, but Allison he takes up that space and he imposes like fear onto you like Neuer does. Where
Yeah.
you
And
get into that one-on-one situation and you're like, well, you know what? Maybe I just won't score this.
I know.
And I
Yeah.
think he just provides so much for Liverpool in general. Like he could, even though like they're missing Van Dijk, Joe Gomez, like
Mhm.
he gives that kind of just aura of like safety having him there, where
Yeah.
it kind of like helps the young guys coming in. Like they're just more confident knowing they've got like arguably the best keeper in the world behind them.
It's
So
true.
it kind of
Especially
helps them get in.
yeah, man. Like
So
when we had to, especially like you're saying, man. Like when kids like Reece Williams have to come in and play games for us, it's like a lot easier for him knowing he's got a goalie like Allison behind him if he makes a mistake. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm willing to say that he's the best keeper in the world right now. I think that match just completely proved it. I was like, I don't watch a lot of Prem. I'll be honest with you. I watch a lot of Serie A. I will watch occasional Prem, but not as much as I will with the Italian league. And like just watching that, okay, he's the best goalie in the world, like bar none. That save, those two saves,
yeah.
and granted, Bruno did scuff that first one a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like he was.
It was still through a crowd, man, and
Except,
it was
through a
like,
crowd. He was within 3 yards, 4 yards. Like that's a tap in.
Yeah.
And Allison saved it with his foot. So it was just shocking. Like Allison, far and away, bar none, best keeper in the world right now. They don't need Van Dyke to win the EPL this season. I'm saying that. That's a hot take.
Your
right now,
opinion?
but that's my opinion. I mean, look at this. Like you're facing the hottest team in the world right now, and you hold them to 0 goals.
Yeah.
You
I
hold Bruno
completely
Fernandes to 0
agree.
goals.
I think the only problem is that Liverpool relies so much on like the front three that like even if the whole team's on form, which like necessarily no one really played bad today.
No.
Like
But no one played good
if
either,
everyone's
you
on
know what I
form,
mean?
yeah, like
Yeah.
no one played bad, no one played amazing. But like the problem with Liverpool is like they rely so heavily on Mane, Salah, and Firmino. Like if they're not putting in goals, like there's problems. Like
Like they
it
have been.
worries me
Yeah.
that we're so reliable on Jota too.
Yeah,
Being a
Jota.
last
Oh,
minute
that's a big
signing
one too,
coming
man.
in,
Yeah, Yota is a
injured,
big. Well, he was a huge signing for you
Yeah.
guys. But at the end of the day,
so big.
like there are worse players to rely on than Mane, Firmino, and Salah. Like there are a lot worse
Yeah,
players
very much.
to
Definitely.
rely on. And the good part about this is you're relying on 3 guys. Like only one of them has to get hot and start banging them in. For you
Yep.
guys to start winning games and scoring more goals rather than
It's true.
0-0.
I think there's
Sorry,
something
go
to be
ahead.
addressed between Salah and Mane, though. I feel like it looks like it's almost painful for them to pass to each other. And
Yeah, it
sometimes, like,
is. I know.
feel that.
I feel that too.
Yeah, I mean, okay, on one hand, you got like, listen, I think Mane is like the nicest guy in the world when he's in front of the camera. But behind the
Yeah.
camera, I mean, you're so good. How can you be that humble? It's the same thing with like
Yeah.
Messi. Like, yeah, Messi's quiet as hell. It doesn't talk too much, but you know when he gets home, he walks in, he sees the 6 Ballon d'Ors, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the best player, whatever."
They're cold blooded for
They're
sure.
cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
And with a guy like Salah, who he wants to be the main guy, there wasn't there a thing earlier this season where he wanted the armband, the captain's armband, and they didn't give it to him. They gave it to Henderson or something like that, and he was pretty upset about it. Was that something that happened this season? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, I was reading a lot on him saying that, going to Spain would be something he'd want to do at some point in his career as well.
That
And I mean,
that as well, but I'm pretty sure there's like a conflict between him and Klopp where he thought he deserved the armband.
he's not a leader, man. I don't think Salah's a leader.
I feel and you know what? It's there are very few offensive players like that who are leaders and
Mhm.
can captain a team from the offensive end. It just makes so much more sense to have the keeper or somebody in the back line or defensive midfield have that kind of leadership role.
Yep.
But Salah going to
Yeah.
Spain, where would you see him go? I mean, Real Madrid or Barcelona,
Real
obviously,
Madrid.
but which
Real
one?
Madrid.
Real Madrid.
You
Real
think
Madrid.
so?
If
You don't
he-
think Barcelona
Yeah.
sign him?
I think he's just a Real Madrid player. Like I just feel like he wouldn't fit the system at Barcelona. It's like I feel like at Real Madrid it's a lot more. Not to say it's just they play as individuals, but like I feel like players that prefer playing with themselves and are like big egos always go to Real Madrid. I feel like
Real
just
Madrid,
like
you could see
people.
also, man. You could see their team that would go and spend 100 million plus on Salah. Barcelona, you don't really see it
Yeah,
doing that.
Barca,
and
Barca just
I
have the
don't
money
see
to
them
do it.
as a position. Yeah, I don't think they're in a position to bring in Salah.
No.
They don't need him
Mhm.
necessarily. Real Madrid, I think that it's either Mbappe or Salah. I don't think they bring in both.
I'd go Mbappe, to be honest with you. I'd
But
go
Mbappe could come
Mbappe.
Liverpool as well, man.
I
Which
was
is
gonna say
I
if
Yeah.
know.
Salah was to go to Real Madrid, Mbappe could turn and go to Liverpool.
Well, that being
I'd
said,
love that.
they
That
would
would be
have the
incredible.
funds. They would have Liverpool
For
would
sure.
have the funds to buy him because that would be a huge influx of cash from the Salah deal. If this
Oh, yeah.
happens, like honestly, that's very possible. It has to be a chain of events though, because although Liverpool are a huge team, I just don't see them like having the same budget as a City or a Man U, or sorry, yeah, I guess a Man U
Yeah.
and like a Real Madrid. But if that happens, if Salah does go to Real Madrid for some crazy amount of money, and it's going to be like 150 million,
Mhm.
then if they just spot the
Yeah.
next 80 or 70, because Mbappe is going for more than Neymar went for. I totally believe that. He's younger, he's faster, he's got more potential.
Mhm.
It will be
And
like
he's not as much of a nuisance on the team.
a nuisance,
Yeah.
a nuisance too, that as well. But also, he doesn't look very injury prone, which is a huge thing because he's only 22,
Yeah.
22 years old. So if that
Yeah,
happens,
22.
Liverpool can spot the extra 70, 80 million and then really make that happen. And then it's
And
just
then
down
we haven't
to his
spent big in a
wages.
couple of summers either, too.
You
right?
haven't. I
Like,
mean, the best signing of the summer is Thiago. And you got it for what, 30
Yeah.
million?
25, 30,
25 million. That is insane. And I
Yeah.
get it. He was going to leave on a free, but that is insane. Thiago has at least
Exactly,
80
yeah.
million. Like, that is a huge
Yeah.
deal. More teams should have gotten in on that. I would have loved if it came to Juve, but
Yeah.
they're pretty
Yeah.
chintzy with their
It-
cash. So
Yeah. It also slides under the radar how much money it would bring in winning the Premier League and Champions League back-to-back years and not
Yeah.
spending that much money. Like Liverpool probably are sitting on a decent amount of money that they're willing to reinvest in the team when the time comes. Because I feel like right now Klopp's like perfectly happy with the team.
Yeah.
But I think other than like a winger, if Salah was to go, a striker's much needed, a backup striker, because Origi is not
I think like a classic number 9 striker, someone who's actually gonna
Yeah.
like bang the goals in consistently. You know, like I'm not like downing Firmino, saying I don't like Roberto Firmino. I love watching Firmino play, but it's like we need that striker that's gonna score goals week in.
You need
week
that
out.
striker who comes on in the 70th minute and just plants himself in the box, like a Giroud.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
like we
like-
were literally
like-
saying earlier.
Like when they were linked with Werner. Like if I think he's gonna eventually gonna go off like that. It's Timo Werner, man. Like he's got literally
It's
every single
inevitable.
attribute that you would want in a number 9. And if he would go to Liverpool, that'd be a huge move. That would be a scary looking front three. I couldn't even imagine what teams do to stop those 3 guys.
The pace.
I think he'd really fit our style of play too, man. The frantic pressing.
I do as
and,
well. And it's
you know?
Klopp. He's German, right? So they would really fit in together well. You'd have a really good dynamic.
And he would have slotted right in at striker too, where with Chelsea, he's on the left wing half the game.
Yeah, I know.
It's the same problem with Aubameyang.
Yeah, Aubameyang too.
It blows my mind that Chelsea spent like what 240 million euros. They bought all these offensive weapons and not one quality young dominating center back. It blows my mind. Like Abramovich,
and they're letting Tomori go.
Yeah, Tomori's going to AC too.
And yeah, he is going to AC. But like Abramovich is like this rich oil guy, ex KGB. You have all the money you need in the world. And yeah, sure, you signed Thiago Silva, but like this is not Silva from.
I mean, man, Ben Chilwell, come on.
Ben Chilwell, like
well, they signed that center back who they sent back out on loan. Was it Sarr or something like that?
Oh yeah, Malang Sarr
yeah,
from Nice.
He might turn. He'll turn well.
Yeah, and Zuma's not playing bad this year either, man. Considering how bad
Zuma's
Chelsea are
good.
playing, Zuma stepped in pretty well.
Yeah, but I mean, like check out Man City, right? Ruben Diaz.
Yeah.
How huge of a signing was that, and how well are City playing? All of a sudden, this guy starts as the leader, and now
John Stones is him and John Stones too, man. They're playing great together.
They have 4 starting center backs because they have Nathan Ake as well.
Yeah.
Man City are just
who hasn't done much, but I feel like he's
someone good to bring in if you need someone, right?
Yeah. When's he gonna get in? Like Stones and Diaz are playing great right now. When is Laporte gonna get in? When is Stones gonna get in? When is Otamendi gonna? Or Otamendi left this.
He went to Benfica, yeah.
Right.
He went the other way in the Diaz
deal. He went the other
deal.
way in that deal.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Moving on to Inter versus Juventus, where Juventus took an absolutely crushing loss. I hate to say 2-0. What do you guys think about this one?
I think that it's against the run of play, and it's big for Inter for sure. And I feel like that can really affect Juventus in a way. Just the mindset being that like Inter's already out of the Champions League, they're focused. I believe that they finished 4th in their group, right? So
they just crashed out of all competitions.
Shakhtar finished above them, I think.
Shakhtar and Mönchengladbach finished above them, and Real Madrid, obviously. But
yeah. So I think it's intimidating for Juventus with Inter being able to completely focus on the title, taking 3 points today, being in 5th. But they also have the Champions League as well.
Yeah, I mean, you watched the game. Like every single player aside from Chiellini was just floundering out there, just running around, just not knowing where to go with the ball. Okay, let's go over there. Like no threat whatsoever. Ronaldo was not even a threat. He played terrible today.
Man, I found there were a couple times, man, like even watching that, like there were times where Danilo played the ball into the box or Chiesa played the ball in the box, and Ronaldo wasn't in positions you'd expect him to usually be in.
Well,
you know what I mean?
and I was gonna say, when you're unable to find when Juventus don't have a threat and they're not pushing the ball forward this season, it's common for Ronaldo to push all the way back and fall deep. And when he does that, when you're taking him out of the front line and he drops into that, he was playing left wing back in the second half for some stupid reason. When he does that, I mean, who are you going to cross the ball into? Morata? Chiesa? No, you're not. So he ends up falling back. And then when those crosses do come in, when they're forced in a counterattack, nobody's there to be on the receiving end of them. So
yeah, man. And it was also really unorthodox, man. Like I found like the way Pirlo played, like starting with Ramsey from the left, and it was a bit weird. Like, dude, there was times where Ramsey got the ball on the left and he's not a winger, man. He can't deliver the kind of ball that you want someone to deliver from the wing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why he was playing out there.
You and me both. Like, I've been watching this team.
He was lost, man.
All season. Yeah. No, like I did a rant on Instagram about Juventus after they won against Sassuolo. He doesn't play the players where they're supposed to play.
Ramsey's not a bad player, man. It's just he has to play where he needs to play.
Ramsey's an attacking midfielder.
Yeah.
If you're going to shift his position anywhere, it's going to be in the center mid. It's
Yeah.
not going to be on the left of a 4-4-2 formation.
Yeah.
It's not going to be on a left wing position.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that. It's going to be in the center mid. And I got a problem when McKinney is in such good form and Artur had a really good game against Sassuolo and he just doesn't start them.
Archer didn't come on either.
Archer didn't even come on. And it was just, they had no idea. Pirlo's he's completely the wrong coach.
I found it bad too, man, how he made all three of his substitutions at once. It was a bit
He does that.
A bit weird, man. I was like,
all the time.
I don't know, because then right after that happened, you saw certain players start to lose their head and put stupid tackles in. Like Morata was getting frustrated, and then it was like, dude, that's when you don't make 3 substitutions, so you can take someone like that off when they start to play like that. You know what I mean?
You're telling me he does that like once a game where you'll go into the half and they'll come back out and 2 players will be missing, and it's who did you sub out, and why, and then or the 60 minute that come along, and then I saw him sub in at one time. I forget what game it was. It was like Kulusevski, Arthur, McKinney, and Frabota, the left back from the youth at once. 4 guys at once. You can't do that. That's not the way the game works. You're completely shifting the entire playing style and the team. That's restarting the game with 4 guys on it once, let alone 5.
Yeah.
So, I think that screams like a level of disorganization, if anything. Like, I don't admittedly watch a ton of Juventus games, but like when I do, I also notice it's a lot of different starting XIs every game. Like, as you said, there's not players playing out of position. It just feels like there's not that level of like every togetherness and like they know what's going on, every role everyone's playing.
Mm-hmm.
It was, man.
And there's just weird dynamics in the team with the young, old, kind of like
out of position.
Yeah.
Even Inter, man, though, like props to Inter though, man. Like that, like it could have been 3 or 4, man. Like honestly, Inter had their chances, man.
If Chiellini wasn't playing the way he was today, like he was like 5 years younger, it would have been 4-0. It would have been 4-0.
Even like that Barella goal, man. The Barella goal was it was a clearance, and it just fell right into his path, and he was in on goal on his own. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, and it bothers me when, and there were some key players missing, and it was kind of like how we beat Milan. They had a lot of guys missing. We didn't have as many people missing, but the 3 players that are missing today were very key to the lineup. Missing Sandro, missing Cuadrado, missing De Ligt. And without like 2 of the 3 of those guys in the lineup, they just look terrible. And it's getting to that point now where if they lose 1 or 2 more games and Inter Milan win 1 or 2 more, they're not going to be competing for these.
Even AC Milan, man. AC Milan now
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they have a game in hand tomorrow against Cagliari as well, right?
Well, the table right now it's 40 for AC Milan, 40 for Inter, but AC Milan have a game tomorrow. So let's just say they win it. It'd be 43 AC Milan, 40 Inter Milan, Juventus in 5th with 33 points.
Yeah.
And with 1 game in hand on Inter and a game in hand on AC Milan.
Yeah.
So it's really not that good.
Which would make it 4 and 7 point gap, even if they do win that game in hand. You know what I mean?
Let's just say it's a 4-point gap, and then you continue to draw against terrible teams, and you continue to lose these big games. I don't see them winning Serie A for 9 straight years. These will be the games. Their formula was let's win early against all the big teams and everyone, and then we can throw that that week 36 game against Inter or that week 38 game against Roma. Like we can just throw that and put on our youth academy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now they're gonna have to do the reverse, and that's never good.
That's what even man, especially with other teams like Napoli going and scoring 6 today, like it's a bit scary, man. Because now it's like, how are you gonna just depend on other teams to lose games when teams like Napoli are playing that well? You know what I mean?
And 100%, and it goes back to I've been saying this for. Jesus, Ronaldo's been there for 3 years. So 3 years, they rely too much on Cristiano. And when he doesn't play well, when he plays like he did today, and they are just lost out there and there's no threat, then they're going to lose every game.
I look at like even their starting lineup today, even if you had Cuadrado in there, and I don't see any like, it's not a star-studded team other than Ronaldo. Morata's like, as much as he's had quite a good season so far. Like he's he's Morata. Like
Mhm.
everyone knows what comes with Morata. At any point, he could play 15 games and not score a single goal.
Yeah.
And like
Absolutely.
It's just like
Inconsistency.
bringing on like McKennie, Bernardeschi, like they're good players. McKennie's been playing really well. Bernardeschi's a good Italian player, but like
Yeah.
that's not who you want to bring on. Dybala's injured.
Dybala, it got injured last game. He's out for like 3 weeks, so it's not that big.
Oh,
but
wow.
He's out still.
Mhm.
And what's going on with Dybala? He could be gone in the summer too. Like Juventus are in a weird phase right now.
They always sell. It's like a rebuild kind of phase, I feel. But they're always saying we're gonna sell Dybala, and then it never happens, even though there's like 25 suitors around Europe.
Literally.
But okay, let's say they're full strength, they down the center, they're extremely strong. They got De Ligt, who's top 5 center back in the world right now. Then they got the midfield is where they're completely lacking. But then up top, they got Dybala in the center attacking mid, and then Ronaldo. And then Chesney's a good keeper. So those 4 guys up the middle, that's a pretty good start. Not so star-studded as other squads, but it's a very good start. For me, you go and buy Pogba right now.
That's all they need.
He's free in the summer. You buy him right now. You don't wait. Just spend the money. They got 60 million plus from the Champions League from making it to the knockout stages. Buy Pogba. And then we're talking right down the middle. Chesney, De Ligt, Pogba, Dybala, Ronaldo. That's pretty star-studded. That's a good lineup. And then everybody around them is all right? You can put in, whoever the hell you want to. You can put in a crappy Bernardeschi and he'll play okay because it's Paul Pogba in the midfield.
How do you feel they're going to do in the Champions League?
You know what? I don't honestly. I don't know. I think that if they lose one more game in Serie A, the season's lost, and then maybe they can focus more on the Champions League. Maybe that'll help them. But it's a very real possibility that Juventus go trophy.
Who do they have in the first round?
They have Porto, so that plays.
Oh
directly.
Yeah, that should be a quarterfinal bye. In
Absolutely,
my opinion.
it plays.
Yeah, then they can get that momentum going as well.
It's right in their wheelhouse. Especially it's Ronaldo. It's a Portuguese team. It's right in up their alley. But again, we're talking about Juventus here, so they can completely squander that and
well, Leon last year, right, man? Leon did it last year to you guys.
Leon, yes, sir. Gentlemen, we are out of time. Thank you very much for coming on. This is a good one.
Of course.
Absolutely. You got the nice jerseys on today, boys, from DH Gate.
Thank you.
Jack, what are you wearing today, man?
I'm wearing the fucking Liverpool training kit, bud. The new one.
Oh, that's classic.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week. This is the Footy Fix times FTBL Planet podcast. Have a go to make sure to like and subscribe.